So today I'm working, doing some last minute prep for a call with a client. So right now I'm doing some last minute prep for a call with a client in about just over an hour to talk about the go forward plan for their HR strategy. Since we started working together, we've been really focused on matters of compliance and getting them in line in that regard. And we're located in the state of New York, so of course there's a whole different level of, uh, of compliance matters to look at. And really excited to be working with this company and excited to get their feedback. But I wanted to share a story with you about something that happened earlier this week. I've had a call with, I've been talking to a private equity firm about working with them on integrating 3 companies that they are buying and then going to integrate into one. And when I had my last call with this company, they brought up this idea which I wasn't fully prepared for to discuss about building culture and focusing on how to build a culture from top to bottom, building out a strategy plan, a vision for the company for the next 10 years, and then backing into even a 5-year plan, a 3-year plan, even a 3-month plan, and how they can align and connect their people to those things using a very specific system or a program that's out there in the marketplace, which I was familiar with, although I had not really used it before. And what came out of this conversation was, for me, a reminder of why I actually got in HR to begin with. The more senior I've become as an HR person, the more I think business leaning I've become, and I probably focused on people a little less than I would have in the past. Kind of that altruism, and had taken the back seat to numbers, revenue, profit, budgets, and things like that. And I was so pleasantly surprised to be talking to this PE firm of which I wasn't surprised that they cared about people things, because they tend to understand that if they're buying a company, they're not just buying the product or the service, they're also buying the talent and the people inside that company. And take that in the spirit which intended. I'm not trying to say they're buying people, but that is part of the value. And they brought up the idea of how they're going to build out their vision and their strategy and align their people to it, which is something that is such a foreign concept to me, to have senior leaders care about things like that, because even if they do care about it, it usually takes the back seat to short-term, revenue and profit thinking. And what this did for me was it reminded me about what I really like about HR the most to begin with, even as a CHRO or a fractional CHRO consultant now, is that being people-centric still is the essence of business growth. And treating people well, hiring the right people, knowing who your high contributors are, treating them well, making sure they stay inside the company, continues to be the rocket fuel for that company's success. Because if you acquire a company, or if you're leading a company, you lose so much if a key player leaves. You lose institutional knowledge, you lose influence, and that's just not something that private equity firms who are investing are going to let slide. They really, really care about that. But again, what I'm really excited about coming out of this conversation, and whether this partnership comes to fruition or not isn't the point, but it reminded me that not every CEO or founder doesn't care about the people part of the business and can actually intellectually link high-performing people who are engaged, people who over-deliver and who care about the business, create more value, than those who are just looked at as cogs in the wheel. So not necessarily rocket science, but I felt really good and excited in going forward my own work, that I don't have to always talk in terms of numbers, and that I can remember and lean into what got me into HR to begin with, which is helping people develop their careers, helping people to fund, support their lifestyle and their family, and to make sure that time they spent at work is time they enjoy and that they feel, some fulfillment and accomplishment. And that was on my mind today. Wanted to share with everybody. welcome your comments, thoughts, feedback below. And, it's Thursday going into the weekend, so have a great weekend. Summer's almost over. Make the most of it. Thanks, everybody.